Welcome back, Marcia and ranchers, to Mindfulness with Marcia. It really does feel amazing to be back sharing with you and encouraging you to join me in creating a more mindful living life journey. If this is the first time you've joined us, welcome. I hope that there'll be a thought each week that you can reflect on and discover your own path to mindful or more mindful living. If you're returning after September's little hiatus for myself, welcome back. I hope that you had some time to be thoughtful and perhaps provide some own self-care for yourself and your journey in mindful living. I know that the last time we chatted, which would have been in August, I mentioned that I needed to take a break. I needed to take a break from focusing on developing mindfulness with Marcia thoughts each week and focus on some self-care to allow myself some personal mindful growth so that I could fill my own bucket so that I would be able to then share with you. Now, if you notice, there was no chime, no gong at the beginning of Mindfulness with Marcia. And I'm going to practice a new thought that I read while on my little mini hiatus. And the author mentioned that mindful living, well, it doesn't stop nor start. And when we share like this about reflecting on mindful living, it should just be part of our everyday activity. The fact that you're taking time now just to be thoughtful about some more specifics on mindful living. Yes, there's still a place to perhaps have that instrumental start to thinking about your breathing during formal practice or meditation. The instrumental ending also helps with that transition when you are in meditation to come back and transition and open your eyes and rediscover and reconnect with the environment. But when you're just talking and sharing and living your life, no start or finish. So for now, I'm going to give it a try and not use any instrumental sound at the beginning or end of Mindfulness with Marcia. In addition, in September, I unexpectedly found myself back home in Indiana dealing with significant health and life changes with my mom, as well as dealing with my own goodbyes to my childhood home. Now, I did intentionally spend time in mindful reflection because I knew that if I didn't, and I've spoken about this before, if I personally do not schedule it as if it was just as important as the appointments that I was meeting to deal with some of my mom's business needs, it wouldn't happen because life has a way of just throwing me in the river and I just keep going downstream, and then I realize that, oops, the day is done and I didn't do my mindful practice. So I can share with you that while I was there, it was extremely bittersweet and difficult. And quite frankly, it still is. But there were also moments of grace and love that I might have missed if I hadn't deliberately taken the time to see to my intention to spend time just in the present, just in the moment, and be mindful. I remember today as if it was yesterday. One early morning, I decided to take a walk in my old neighborhood in the fog. It was really foggy. And I really didn't know how foggy it was when I first started out until I realized I was squinting just to see from the street to people's front doors, because I was kind of looking at the houses that I remembered trick-or-treating at, or the homes that I had gone and tried to sell whether it was band candy or Girl Scout cookies, because I wasn't a very good salesman. I had to laugh out loud of how much candy and cookies we had in the freezer because my parents had to buy it for me because I wasn't very good. But I do remember too that the fog was so heavy that I could feel the mist, on my face. and it was fogging up my glasses to the point where I just took them off and put them in my pocket. And I could feel it. I remember I had a short sleeved shirt on. I could feel the mist just collecting, on my arms and on my hands as I moved forward in this thoughtful presence. Sometimes when we feel muddled and unfocused and unsure of which way to turn, we use the term, or we say we're in a fog. Lately, I think we've heard brain fog used a lot with respect to this COVID viral pandemic, because our brain actually has been having difficulty making sense of all the changes that are happening so quickly. And we say that we're in a fog. Similar to when we're in a fog in nature, we feel like we can't really see where we're going, or sometimes even where we've come from. And we get frightened that we don't have the visibility that we'd like. And we feel like if we move too quickly, we might run into something that's hidden in the mist that seems to be gathering and getting closer and closer. I know that when you're in a fog, it really limits your visibility. And I was acutely aware. I thought, wow, I'm glad I'm not driving around in my Jeep, because I just think that it might be dangerous. I'm glad I'm just walking and can just have a little bit of control around me without being in a car and also expecting others to be able to see me. So that impairment causes fear. And when we're foggy about things, whether it's emotional fog, physical fog, thought fog, that lack of visibility causes a lot of fear. And we wonder, how are we going to get through this? Or is there any answers? So by and large, I would say that most of us, me included, prefer to be able to see where we're going and to be able to move and steadfastly in the direction. Even if I don't like the direction, if I can just see it, I feel just a little better about the journey. I wonder if you feel that way also. Certainly my mind and my emotions are involved in wanting to be able to see clearly and move forward. But it occurred to me that very day that there could be gifts. There really could be gifts that come from being in a fog. I wasn't quite ready to say blessings, but gifts. Gifts of insight, just gifts of just even being present in a fog. Sometimes it can take an obstacle like fog to get us to stop. Get us to stop and be still in a moment, doing nothing. In this moment of slowing down and slowed activity, we might look within and find that the source of fogginess might be inside of us. It may not be external at all. It might not be in the circumstances. It might be the fogginess within us. And at that time, for me, there were several emotional issues that needed tending to before I felt like I could fully, safely go full steam ahead in my life's journey. And in life, I can share with you, my friends, that I have found that I often cannot, like the weather, I cannot predict when a fog will come. Nor do I know when it's going to lift, but I am certain that it will. Fog always does lift. And I've discovered that I can center myself in that haze, in that fog, and wait for guidance, rather than trying to push through and try to see and get frustrated and get my emotions all stirred up. Instead, I center, I'm more mindful, and I wait for guidance. Rangers, I want you to know that we can all fall into a fog once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. It's part of being human. But please know that the fog will lift soon. Now, soon can be defined in a lot of different ways, but it will lift. And the sun will shine upon you again. And you'll move forward with clarity once more. So our pause for this week, if you're finding yourself in your own fog, schedule, yes, I said schedule, be intentional about setting some time, and it doesn't have to be hours and hours, it can be a few minutes, but set some time for self-care to include some healthy reflection on what gifts you might be missing during this time, or where you might reach out to lift your haze so the sun will shine again. And if you're blessed and you're in sunny skies now, why not pause and first give thanks? Be grateful. Remember, the brain likes to hang out in those negative thought places. But if we keep sharing with the brain and reflecting with the brain those times of positivity, it can really help with that negative bias. And right now, when you're in sunny skies, why not think about the resources you have? Because when your fog rolls in, and it will, sometime or another, you'll be able to reflect back on, oh, I have some resources here that can help me see, can help me settle, can help me reflect on what I need right now during this fog in my life. So until next week, stay safe and be well.